This is Chris Kell, which is a quick demonstration of our Peak Fitness client performance testing form. Our client performance testing form allows us to track body composition, core strength, endurance, and a variety of other things, just kind of based upon what the client is doing. All right, generally we'll perform our fitness testing on the 4th week of each month, and we'll do weigh-ins kind of maybe twice a month, or kind of based upon the client's adherence. So in looking at this, we just have our weigh-in information. This is generally the first thing that we're going to do in the session. All right, and then on the 4th week, we're going to break up our core strength. We're going to break up our testing into two components. All right, based upon the type of client we're training, we're going to test core strength and muscular endurance, and then aerobic endurance as well as one workout. All right, that's day one. Those are things that can be implemented as a workout, as I'll demonstrate in a second. And then we can also do strength testing and athletic performance tests, which would be day two, simply because those two things would compete with one another. All right, so we're just going to start and go right down the line here. Generally, we perform these things back to back. We do our strength testing followed by muscle endurance and aerobic endurance. I'm just going to show you how to do that. All right, so I'm just going to back this up here and refer to the camera. Alright, so after our client has done their warm-up, generally we'll perform their warm-up as their postural testing. Okay, we're going to go right into a core training portion, or our core testing. Alright, this is done by simply having the client hold in several positions a plank, okay, a side plank, for 60 seconds. They're holding in this position. We're just going to see whether or not they can hold. If they're not able to hold for 60 seconds, they come down, they just say time, all right, and you tell them, okay, you held for 45 seconds. They're going to record that in their chart. All right, from here, we're going to do a straight leg sit-up test. All right, we want to ask the client how many can they do with their arms crossed in 60 seconds. Abs are tight, back is pressed into the floor. All right, what I'm looking for here are sit-ups, all right, without bouncing off the ground. All right, if the client does start to bounce off the ground, then they stop and they record that number. All right, our next test would be a leg lowering test. All right, with this, my abs are tight, my back is pressed into the ground. I want to come down as far as I can while keeping my back pressed to the ground only. If I start to arch my back, that's the limit. All right, I want the client to be able to come down to about parallel and back. All right, if they cannot do that, they record that. If they can do that, I want to see how many times they can do it with good form. All right, they record that number. And again, 60 seconds for each drill. All right, from here we're moving on to our muscle endurance tests. Generally we're going to perform 2 cycles of this, and we're going to give the client the opportunity to get 2 opportunities to score this. All right, what I'm looking for here are just some simple endurance tests. We have the body weight push-up. Again, we're going to give the client a target. Pause at the bottom, pause at the top for 1 or 2 seconds. I'm looking for the number of good push-ups they can do with good form in 60 seconds. All right, we have our inverted row test. Generally, this can be done either with a TRX or under a barbell, but once again, back is flat, abs are tight, don't slip. All right, I'm just pulling myself up, pause at the top, pause at the bottom. All right, I'm not losing my my hip position there. And again, I'm looking for the number they can record in 60 seconds. All right, for our last test, we have either a squat or a jump squat test. And with this, all right, we want the client to be able to squat down to parallel, okay, meaning like this ball, we'll put a ball under their butt or a step, they're just coming up and down. Okay, or, if that's pretty easy, if they can get over, 25 to 50 squats, all right, we're going to move to a jump squat. Okay, but either one, I want them to break parallel, I want them to touch the ball without rounding their back forward. All right, from here, we're going to test their muscular endurance. All right, and in order to do so, we have 3 key tests. All right, we're going to start with what we call a modified Cooper's test. All right, so we're going to give the client a 6-minute circuit. I'm going to ask the client to perform 4 exercises back to back for a period of 6 minutes. All right, I simply want to see how many rounds that they're able to get in that amount of time. All right, for this circuit, we're going to perform push-ups, inverted rows, squats, and burpees. Okay, 8 of each exercise. Once again, the client will be familiar with these by this time, and we just want to see whether or not they can make it through 1, and 2, if they are able to do that with good form. Now the other, not if they are able to do that with good form, how many rounds they can achieve. This gives the client a baseline to work with, and we just want to add to that with each subsequent month. All right, for our second test, we have our recovery test. All right, we're going to take the client's heart rate. I'm going to have them take their pulse, and we just want to see how long it takes them to recover. So this can either be done with a heart rate monitor or by taking the pulse. We're looking for recovery back to under 120 beats per minute. Okay, and then later on, our last test would be to simply take the client's resting heart rate. All right, research has shown that if the client is in the high 60s, 70s, or 80s for their heart rate or above, okay, they're in some need of aerobic conditioning. Right? If they're in the 50s or the 40s or maybe the low 60s, then they're in better what we general aerobic shape. Right? So that is our aerobic endurance testing. All right, and that's what I'm going to take you through. That's generally what we're going to put our clients through every month. In our next video, we'll take you through some basic strength testing as well, but that's what we're looking for from our monthly testing.